Hi, this is Phil Toko, and you're watching the Agri-Food Safety Minute. Today we're going to be talking about risk mitigation and the idea of looking at all of your risks on your farm. The first step in risk mitigation is going through and delineating all of the possible things that could go wrong to affect the quality and the safety of the food that you produce on your farm. So there are really two parts to doing an assessment of risk and risk mitigation. The first part is to really look at an aerial view to assess if there are any things in the area that could potentially cause problems with production. The second part is to actually conduct a drive-by in a pickup truck or your vehicle of any kind to check the surrounding area, particularly the area that's within about a mile of the farm. We have our old friend Google Maps up and ready to go here on the computer. I've zoomed out, way out. Here's my field. Here are my three fields, A, B, and C, and here's my home farm here. Now what I need to do is I actually need to go and see if there's anything in the area close to the farm that might potentially cause problems. As I look, I'm noticing what looks to be a little creek area here. So I'm going to look, zoom in this area right here that can show me what this is. No, it happens to be an airstrip. It looks like it's an airstrip, so it's not a creek bed area, and they look like they've contoured it into ponds and the like. Back to my farm, if I look, here I am, and it looks like there's Skiff Lake right here, and there's some little ponds and fen areas here. So it looks like potentially that there's not a whole lot of, from an aerial viewpoint, it looks like there's not a whole lot of potential concerns, which is a good thing. Now that I've determined the risks from an aerial standpoint looking at Google Maps, the next step is to get in the truck and see what there is to see on the ground. The first thing that I notice as I pull out of the parking lot, and I'm sure you cannot see it in your shot, the first thing I notice as I drive around is that there's a wetland area immediately adjacent to one of the production areas. So I note that on my list of things that could potentially cause risk. As I drive around as well, I'm looking at the neighbors and seeing what kind of adjacent land use there is. There's a lot of corn and soybean production, and a lot of empty land as well. I do notice that the neighbors have chickens immediately adjacent to, or a chicken coop immediately adjacent to the property. So that's something that I need to keep in mind and possibly see if the neighbors could potentially get rid of their chickens or move their chickens to a different area. In addition, I see large amounts of trees adjacent to the property that could potentially cause harborage issues with regards to deer and other critters. The good news is that other than the chicken coop that the neighbors have in an adjacent plot, there's not very much in the way of animal agriculture directly next to the production area. And a chicken coop is easy to move, whereas a cow-calf operation isn't quite so easy to move. So to recap, this week we looked at our farm from an aerial view as well as on the ground around on the roads, and we're able to determine different risks that could potentially impact food safety. Now, next week we'll be taking those risks and developing them into either risk mitigation strategies or
strategizing how to change the situation so that they don't pose food safety risks. Thanks a lot for joining us this week, and we hope to see you back next week.